Right, 30 May 2024, and today I'm going to be giving you yet another update on all the events and the news that is taking place in Zimbabwe. So we're going to do this very, very quickly so that we get to understand what is happening around the country. And today, the most important news is what is happening in South Africa. So South Africa's elections were held yesterday, and the turnout was extremely high. So that is the highest turnout that we've seen in a while. And we're expecting that the turnout will be above 66%, which was the turnout in 2019. There was also an election yesterday in Madagascar. So SADC had two elections yesterday, that is South Africa and Madagascar. And I want to show you some pictures of what happened yesterday. So this was the election observer mission of SADC, and this happened in South Africa. So you can see that the SADC guys were over there. SADC is extremely important in the holding of elections in Southern Africa, and people are looking to SADC for guidance. So this was SADC in South Africa yesterday. This was also SADC in Madagascar. So yesterday, the SADC observer mission was also there in Madagascar. As you know, there are massive problems in elections in Madagascar. The elections in Madagascar were contested in the last election. However, the South African election went on very well yesterday. There was no problems with the South African election, except for some computer issues. So there were some computer-related issues yesterday with the South African election, but otherwise everything went well, and the results are already starting to come in from various constituencies. So South African elections are normally not as contentious as the ones in Zimbabwe. The democracy in South Africa is quite developed. So these are the parties that were contesting here. You can see there's a lot of parties here. Particularly of particular interest is MK Party here, which came in this year, the ANC, the EFF. So those are the leading parties here, the DA. So that top list there has got a lot of interest. That is where all the top guys are in the South African election. So we expect to see all the election results by Sunday. We expect that all the results will be out, and we'll know who is the winner in the South African election. So two elections in SADC yesterday. That is Madagascar and South Africa, and we await the results. Now, I want to go to our headline, and our headline is to do with Timba. So you know that currently there were 4 letters before Parliament. So the letter by Timba, the letter by Promise Mkwananzi, the letter by Tshabangu, and the letter by Watchman Ncube. And all these people wanted money from the Parliament for CCC. They were claiming that they're the legitimate leader of the CCC. And what has happened is that last week, the Parliament of Zimbabwe, through Jacob Mudenda, has rejected and reversed their position. So their position was that Timba, who is claiming to be the leader of the CCC, after being appointed by the NCA, is not the CCC president because he was recalled by the same CCC from Senate. So he cannot give an instruction to Parliament when he was recalled by the same party. So Timba is no longer going to be communicating on behalf of the CCC in terms of funds, in terms of portfolio committees, in terms of appointments. So he's not going to be communicating in terms of all those. Parliament would accept any communication from Timba. That leaves the letter by Mkwananzi, the letter by Tshabangu, and the letter by Ncube. So those are the 3 letters now that are in front of Parliament, and most likely the money is going to go to either Ncube or to Mkwananzi. This is because Tshabangu has been interdicted by the court from acting on behalf of the CCC. So he was interdicted by Timba. There's a court case which Timba put against Tshabangu. So this disqualifies Timba and Tshabangu from acting on behalf of the CCC, which leaves Promise Mkwananzi and Ncube as the 2 people who are likely to get the money from Parliament. So those are the parliamentary funds. And this money is a bone of contention among the CCC members. They want to have that money. so that they can make use of it. And whoever gets this money is going to, well, do very, very well. As you know, money is important. So Jameson Timba is not the CCC representative in Parliament. He's not the one who is going to be in charge of making appointments. And there is currently a process, a GNU process, which is being discussed between Ncube and Mnangagwa. And let's see how that goes. And I think that this is related. However, the most important thing is not what is happening with the CCC. As I said, the important thing is what is happening with SADC. SADC is very, very important. It's playing a very big role in elections in Southern Africa as the region tries to integrate. So you can see what's happening in Madagascar. You can see what is happening in South Africa. The region needs to integrate like other regions, and people need to follow standards. So currently, the standards are not followed in Zimbabwe, and that is where the problem is. The problem is not with these small things, the Mickey Mouse things that are happening with the Parliament of Zimbabwe, and everyone is watching. We want to see what is going to happen within the next 3 months as SADC prepares to come to Zimbabwe. I now want to go to the National Sports Stadium. So I've been telling you that the government of Zimbabwe is running out of money. They do not have money to do anything. So they were supposed to fix the National Sports Stadium and put bucket seats here. No progress has been made. The Zimbabwe government has failed to release money for this project. And as I said, Mnangagwa's projects have all ground to a halt. Nothing is working. Anything that Mnangagwa has started is not moving. And the National Sports Stadium is a case in point. There was supposed to be an inspection yesterday, but it had to be abandoned because there has been no single piece of work done since the last inspection. Mnangagwa has run out of money. The government of Zimbabwe has run out of money. All the projects that were supposed to be done are not moving. They have stopped because there's no money. And bucket seats were supposed to be installed in this stadium, but there is no money for it. And now they are looking for someone to help who is not within the government to go to China and get bucket seats, because this stadium cannot be used for anything until there are bucket seats here and until there are toilets. Currently, there are no toilets, and the whole stadium is a disaster. It's actually a danger. People could die if they go in this stadium. So it's been banned from being used. Right, I think I need to go to a few other stories. So today we've got very, very few stories. I was here last night, so let's try to keep this very short. I want to look at business stories. So Kafka is appointed Wimbai Nyapujga is the new CEO. That announcement is out there today. Then Old Mutual has closed their ETF on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange because all the companies are leaving the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange and going to the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. So the investment on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange no longer makes sense. These are the effects of the ZIG. The ZIG is nothing. The ZIG is chasing business. No one wants to trade in the ZIG. So they're leaving the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange and going to the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, which is trading in US dollars. And then in terms of the Emirates, there is a story about the Emirates here, which is very interesting. This is in the Newsday newspaper. It shows that since Emirates started, it has transported over 1 million Zimbabweans or over 1 million passengers into Zimbabwe on the Zimbabwe-Dubai route over the past 15 years. So you can go and check out that story. Very, very interesting. The Emirates is one of those good airlines which people use in Zimbabwe. They travel a lot between Dubai and Zimbabwe. There's a lot of trade between Zimbabwe and Dubai. People go over there to buy, and also is a transit route between Zimbabwe and other countries. So many Zimbabweans living over in countries like United Kingdom, countries like Australia, they pass through Dubai as a transit route. And then obviously, I want to end with what's happening within the opposition. The opposition is very weak, and a weak opposition is not good for Zimbabwe. That is why everyone needs to unite. That is why a solution needs to be found for the opposition. Otherwise, 2040, you're still going to be having these squabbles that are taking place I saw the war veterans are trying to be included. If you look at the leading story of today, the war veterans are actually asking Mnangagwa to dissolve his parliament, his cabinet and Politburo and include them. And this was a war veteran called Blessed Geja. He had an interview last week at Hudson Soul TV. And all I can say is that this is not the solution. If young people just sit and do nothing, you eventually end up with more of the same going forward. The problem in Zimbabwe is the current political order is not sustainable. So if young people don't take up the initiative, you are going to get a solution from either the military or from ZANU-PF, and that you won't like it. It will become a problem going forward. I want us to look at the newspapers and see if any of the newspapers is published, and then I'll bring this to an end. And I'm going to go to Ash Metro. Today, I'm just going to look at Ash Metro newspaper and see if there's anything over there. So let's look at Ash Metro newspaper. I'm going to share the screen with you so that you can see what Ash Metro is saying. Then I can go to the gym and take a break. It's been a holiday here yesterday as we went for the elections. So let's look at what Ash Metro is saying today. So in Ash Metro, they're leading with a story that says, "Welcome to Little England," here. And they're saying that there's a big fight in Harare as many of the people in the low density areas want their street names to be in English and not in Shona. So its critics have dubbed it Little England, while its backers have said it's part of their identity, which highlights the difference between the neighborhood and the high density suburbs. But what was once a united community has been split by street names. Welcome to Westgate Area D in Harare. The beautiful houses are hiding a vicious community split that has been sparked by differences over how they should name their streets. So you can go and look at this story here, and who is that in that picture? Kudzai Kadzombe. I don't know what Kudzai Kadzombe is doing over there. So you can check out this story in the H Metro newspaper. This is the most interesting story that I found here. There's also the story of the Quest robbery, 720,000 US dollar robbery. A lot of people have been robbed here. There's also the story of Nevo Mchangwa that I held yesterday. I took a look at this story, which says that Nevo Mchangwa and his accomplices, they will now know their fate tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to know if a judge has been appointed, and so you can go and have a look at this story. I'll ask our business and our news readers to look at this story and explain to you what is happening with Nevo Mchangwa as it develops. Then in terms of the 17 to 19 August protests, tonight there'll be an update. We'll try to give you an update every day. And as the interim committee starts to operate, I'll obviously be stepping back and letting the guys come here to explain to you what is happening. Please go to the WhatsApp groups, go and fill in the forms and participate. There's going to be the biggest demonstration against Mnangagwa between 17 and 19 August when the SADC heads of state are in Zimbabwe. And which reminds me, I'd forgotten one very important thing. Mnangagwa is going to be traveling tomorrow, and Mnangagwa is going to be at the KAZA summit in Livingstone. So this is the KAZA summit where they're trying to get out of sight. Sight is the international body which regulates the sale of ivory. And as you know, the sale of ivory was banned, and Mnangagwa and President Hakainde Hichilema, Namibia, Botswana, Angola, they formed what is called KAZA. And what they're trying to do is to get out of this site so that they can start selling ivory, most likely to China. And they're going to be meeting at Livingstone Hotel tomorrow. So Mnangagwa is going to be over there at Livingstone Hotel. And if you're in Zambia, you can go and check him out if you want to, if you're in that kind of thing. If you like seeing Mnangagwa, that is where he's going to be. So I think we've covered everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again later tonight as we give you an update on the 17 to 19 August demonstrations. So from now to August, you're likely going to be seeing me 2 to 3 times a day. there's going to be a massive organization and updates on the demonstrations. I'm also going to give you updates on the letters that are going to be sent out to the embassies, to the international organizations, and the bishop is going to be here tonight, most likely tonight or earlier during the day, so that we'll understand what is going on. There is a big opportunity here for people to get rid of Mnangagwa once and for all between 17 and 19 August. The date is going to be confirmed because we need to know what date the heads of states are going to be in Zimbabwe. Then that demonstration is going to take place. The objective is a fresh election. People want a fresh election. As you heard Nelson Chamisa said, the last election was not valid. It did not produce a result. Zimbabwe needs a new election. So let's all support the initiative of the demonstration against SADC, against Mnangagwa, and against all the rigging that took place in Zimbabwe. Thank you very much.